Hi, my name's Brighten here at Logis Greenhouses, and today we're going to be talking about the Christmas cactus, or the Schlumberger. This is one of the most famous houseplants that is used for color at this time of year. And these are actually tropical epiphytes, meaning that they come out of the tropical jungles, growing up in the trees outside of soil. And they have a ability to flower, particularly at this time of year. Now, they can flower at other times of the year, but generally it's pretty much a given that if you give the right conditions to it, the plants will come into bloom just around Christmas time. As you can see, we're right here at the 1st of December, and these plants will be flowering on through that. In terms of culture, we like to give them some filtered sun. So in a home situation, it will be an east to west window. If you give them too much sunlight, like direct sunlight, the leaves will actually bleach out. They actually can get quite yellow. So they do need a little bit of shade. They can grow in fairly deep shade, but in terms of getting a good amount of flowers out of them, it's better to have them in a window that gets some direct sun. In terms of watering, as I mentioned, you want to make sure that the soil becomes dry. Here's a pot right here that is running on the edge of quite dry right now, and this is a great time to water this. You can see the soil has actually changed color from that kind of darker wet to a light brown color, and at that time you want to water them, and water them thoroughly. Allow the water to run right through the bottom of the pot. As far as feed goes, they really have their growing cycle in the summertime, so they're right now going through a flowering stage. Growth is pretty much stopped. It's wintertime because the days are shorter and temperatures are generally cooler. Those two things help in terms of flowering. And as we get back into the springtime, late winter and springtime, you'll see they'll start to initiate growth. At that time, you can stop fertilizing them. Just small amounts, don't do it too heavily. Either dilute a liquid feed in the water, or you can top dress with an organic granular on the top. But you just got to remember that they don't need a lot of fertilizer, but fertilizer will help them in terms of their growth and the next year's blooming. As far as insects go, they're pretty impervious to most insects. There are a few scale insects that can get on them, and possibly some mealybug, but that is usually an issue of some infestation coming in on another plant and being near them. If you take a healthy plant and put it in a home, it can live for years without having any problems with insects. Diseases are an issue, particularly root diseases, and we have a plant here that has suffered from that collapse. You can see the foliage on this is all shriveled. This plant has actually been overwatered. That's the cause of its decline right here. If we looked at its root system, you can see, well, there's actually some live roots now, and most of those are gone. And they collapse pretty quickly because my fingers are just rubbing those roots off. They're all dead. There's no life in them, even though they actually, even from this point, they look like they're healthy. So this had a sudden collapse on it, and it was generally, not even generally, it was actually an overwatering issue. So as you can see, these are in clay, plastic pots. If you happen to be heavy on the watering, move them into clay. That probably would have saved this plant had this been grown in a clay pot. It could have taken that heavier watering that it got. Now, this actually can come out of it, which is the amazing thing. I would certainly pick off these flowers right now, and I would, if I was going to save this, I would stop watering it. That's one thing you need to do, obviously, and let the soil dry down. You could move this into a clay pot and let it dry down quicker. But you do need to water a little bit, but really grow it very much on the dry side until these leaves rehydrate and become turgid again. As far as pruning goes, there is a cycle after it's blooming that we need to cut the plants back. And they do, depending upon the cultivar, but some of them actually have these kind of long, gangly growth on them. If you prune them, there's segments to the leaf, so you simply need to just cut off those segments like that. And this would be done generally, as I mentioned, after the flowering, sometime before a flush of growth in the springtime. So as the spring comes on, you don't want to prune, obviously, because you're trying to increase the amount of foliage, and also this bud formation, which is going to happen in the summertime. As we go into summer and the summer days start to shorten, the plant begins to decide to flower. The threshold for blooming is probably 12 to 14 hours of daylight, and so we get into our darker days. That's around the 1st of September. That's the triggering mechanism that's going to force these plants into flower. Well, there's a little bit of information on how to grow your Christmas cactus. This is the time of year that they're in their glory. So thank you for watching. If you'd like to get more information, you can visit us at logis.com.